crecí con los pies firmes y con mucha libertad.
Yo crecí con los pies firmes y con mucha libertad.
Y no pienso hoy perderme entre la gran sociedad.
Y no pienso hoy perderme entre la gran sociedad.
Olvidar de mi cultura y perder mi identidad.
Pies firmes en la tierra. Pies firmes de verdad. Pies firmes en la tierra. Pies firmes de verdad.
La tierra, mi cuerpo entero.
Los ríos son como brazos, la tierra, mi cuerpo entero.
Las aves platican todo y los vientos son sinceros.
Las aves platican todo y los vientos son sinceros.
La tierra es mi madre y yo soy el heredero.
La tierra es mi madre y yo soy el heredero.
De este campo no me sacas, ni vivo ni ya muerto.
Pies firmes en la tierra. Pies firmes de verdad. Pies firmes en la tierra. Pies firmes de verdad.
Y lo mineral.
Solo quieren oro negro, joyas y lo mineral.
Saqueará todo el campo solo por un dineral.
Sacará todo el campo solo por un dineral.
Esta tierra no es mía, solo soy el que la cuida.
Esta tierra no es mía, solo soy el que la cuida.
La defiendo con amor y si pide con mi vida.
Pies firmes en la tierra. Pies firmes de verdad. Pies firmes en la tierra. Pies firmes de verdad. Pies firmes en la tierra.
Esta tierra no es mía.
Pies firmes de verdad.
Solo soy el que la cuida.
Pies firmes en la tierra.
La defiendo con amor.
Pies firmes de verdad.
Y si pide con mi vida.
Pies firmes.
No nací para doblarme.
Pies firmes.
Yo nací para guerrear.
Pies firmes.
Yo crecí con los pies firmes.
Pies firmes.
Y con mucha libertad.
Pies firmes.
Hoy no pienso ya perderme
Pies firmes.
entre la gran sociedad.
Pies firmes.
Olvida de mi cultura
Pies firmes.
y perder mi identidad.
All over our state, important stories are happening every day. And some of the most important are those involving remarkable people who care and who take their caring to a new level as they help others around them.
Hello, I'm Lansing Adams. As Tourism Secretary for the incredible state of New Mexico, it is my privilege to introduce the 4th Annual New Mexico True Heroes Awards. Our true heroes are exceptional individuals who have distinguished themselves as community leaders, mentors, and change makers who are building a better New Mexico for us all.
Hi, I'm Ed Graves, CEO for New Mexico Magazine, and it is my pleasure to congratulate the 2023 New Mexico Magazine True Hero recipients. You will see from their projects that they saw a need in their communities and they were willing to take the steps to make their communities better. I would also like to thank KOB4 for your partnership with this event. Again, congratulations to the 2023 New Mexico Magazine True Hero recipients.
A panel of judges helped New Mexico Magazine choose this year's True Heroes for their exceptional acts of service. And now I'm honored to introduce you to our state's 2023 True Heroes. When the community and home her family had lived in for generations was threatened by wildfire, there was one way Carmen Baka knew she could make a difference after that fire. Right.
And then the Hermit's Peak and Calf Canyon fires merged, a monstrous inferno taking much, most, or all of it away. My name is Carmen Baka, and I'm from Cañoncito de las Manolitas up in northern New Mexico, and I'm being recognized for preserving my culture through my storytelling. A lot of our Chicano culture, our norteño way of life comes into my stories. Since I was a child, my parents would bring me up here every afternoon after work and school. Every summer we'd stay here, we'd grow gardens and take care of the orchards and the animals and so forth. So it's always been farmland for my family. And after my husband and I got married, he wanted to move up here. And so we built the house where we live now and are trying to carry on the tradition of taking care of it for posterity. I've got 3 essays about the Calf Canyon Hermit's Peak fire published. We inherited these lands. We nurtured these lands. We've cared for these lands for generations. And to have so much taken away, I tried to convey in that particular essay how much they did take away from us. It's not just, trees, it's not the people whose houses burned, it's not just their possessions. What burned was part of their heritage. Their grandparents' antiques were in that house, their documents, the history, it's gone. I kind of personified the fire and I turned it into an angry beast, and it was, consuming without being sated for over 103 days. That beast ate what it ate of our precious lands up here. There's so much up here that I feel spiritually connected to. The land, the nature, the trees. I walk up there and I cry when I see the black trunks of the trees and the sap that's still frozen on them because they cried during the fire. All of us share the same thing now. We can't look at a sunrise or a sunset that's beautifully red or beautifully orange without thinking fire first. We had to, pick up the pieces and move on. What choice do we have? That was the overall message I think that I tried to leave readers with at the end, that it's not going to defeat us, but it sure did give us a major hurt. We'd never experienced that kind of a disaster up here. I'm not going to see it completely restored or even closely restored to what it was in my lifetime, but I can help start the process.
In Belen, Holly Chavez and her daughter Noel, united by a desire to help others, started a student tutoring service. But even they didn't know what their initial effort would grow into and how many lives it would touch.
We started off as an educational program doing tutoring in 2015.
We became a company that started doing a lot of outreach with at-risk populations, from children, and worked our way up to the homeless adult population as well as low income, at risk of homelessness.
Even like seniors and young families that just need help with paperwork, so it's completely free. We still function on the model of these are the services we provide, but if you need something different, talk to us. We can't always say yes to everything. We can't always make it happen, but we do try. We opened the resource center behind the Glen Library, and we also have a small resource center in Cibola County.
We both wanted to open a business. I wanted to open a tutoring business. I'm a teacher by trade. Noel, she loves to help people. It has taken many years to gear the business that way, but that's the direction we've gone. We continue to do the tutoring on the one hand, and then helping do the outreach. Started making these connections in the community to build a better umbrella, basically. And so we're not in competition with any organization. Sometimes we complement each other very, very well, and we get different food from different organizations depending on what programs are out there, and we piecemeal it together to get it to the people.
And I have people all the time, they're like, well, your mission is so broad. And I said, well, it kind of has to be, because we have to be available to do the things that maybe other organizations don't have the capacity for. So we're literally just trying to gap fill services.
These are people that are so used to being ignored or just a number, I think, that we've just got to change what we're doing. And we're trying to do that. We don't do this in a void. We have an incredible group of people that literally are the hands and feet of this operation. It takes a lot of people to accomplish what we're doing here. So that's really important to me that is recognized. Basically, it's a grassroots organization that answers the door every time the doorbell rings and helps people.
You're about to meet someone who some Special Olympics athletes are lucky enough to call coach. But that's not all Carolyn Olsen is. Get ready to get inspired by a volunteer who just keeps on winning gold.
My name is Carolyn Olsen. I live in Carlsbad, New Mexico. I'm a volunteer and I work as a Special Olympic coordinator. CARC is a residential facility for the developmentally disabled. It is a campus situation, and it is CARC's 50th anniversary we're celebrating this year. I'm the area director for Special Olympics, and so I have to plan a lot of the events that happen. And like the one that's coming up now is the bowling. They work on grounds, and they work some in the city. They work at the con processing. They work in the dining hall. They work at the waste isolation pilot plant here in Carlsbad on the computers. They also work at our country store where they grow and sell plants. I started years ago working for the Red Cross, and we developed and started an adapted aquatics swimming program for the little ones here in Carlsbad, and that evolved into Special Olympics, and that evolved into working volunteering full-time with the residents who live out here in different sports. Some of our athletes, we've been privileged to go to the national games and the international games for Special Olympics, and I have been the swim coach for all of these events up till this year. And so to see athletes and swimmers from all over the state be able to swim and compete and excel on an international and national platform is, I guess, as big thrill for me as it is for them. It's competition. It's not just recreation sports that we do. We compete. Like all of us, you know, when we do something well and get a prize for it or get a medal for it or get a ribbon for it, it makes us feel good. And it's just as important to these athletes as it is to their coaches. I think it's just as much as self-satisfaction as it is being able to see our guys, you know, develop, practice, and work and excel in what they do as far as for sports or whatever else they do. I'm selfish. I get just as much out of it as anybody else does, and I always have. There's something about giving. There's just something about giving, and when you give, you feel better.
Support from parents and elders who valued education helped put Dr. Sean Secotero on a career path dedicated to empowering others. And now students come from around the world to learn from him.
My name is Dr. Sean Secotero. We are in Tohajile or Tohajilehi. which means bringing up water from the well. I'm at the University of New Mexico in the Teacher Educational Leadership Program. I work particularly with Native American educators, students, and I also teach dual enrollment at New Mexico State University in Grants. According to the latest statistics for Native American education in New Mexico, only 2% are principals and 2% are Native American teachers. We have a program called Pollen, which stands for Promoting Our Leadership, Learning, and Empowering Our Nations at UNM. And we have graduated 50 new principals within 5 successive cohorts. And all of those teachers are serving as Native American leaders, principals, superintendents, program directors. There are a lot of different milestones that I remember just seeing them walk across the stage to get their master's degree, their educational specialist or doctorate degree. It's fulfilling to see them graduate, and I was a part of their educational journey. It's always been my passion to give back to my people as well as to improve the lives of our people through education, through our school systems, leadership, well-being, and education. My research focuses a lot on leadership with a holistic perspective where everything is connected. We're connected through spiritual, mental, physical, and social well-being. So it's a holistic pathway for our people, our future. In my last oral history project, I interviewed my 100-year-old great-grandmother. I said, what would you like to tell the future children of our community and those around us? And she said, always remember who you are, where you are from, where you are going, and you have strong young wings. I'm sure you're eager to fly higher.
Don't tell Linda Spencer New Mexico kids are bad at math. She knows better. She's got a school full of students who are learning that, yes, numbers can make sense.
My name is Linda Spencer, and I'm the principal at Blanco Elementary School in Blanco, New Mexico. It's part of Bloomfield School District. The work that I'm being recognized for is a math initiative that we've been working on for the last 3 years. And it's about creating number sense, helping the students understand number sense. I work with some people from the Los Alamos National Labs. It's called the Math Teacher Leader Network, and it's led by Zachary Leonard, Dr. Leonard, and Randy Merker. They come at least once a month. They work with my teachers, do math study cycles, we plan, we work in classrooms, and they stay with us for 2 days. And so it's really helped my teachers understand how to be better math teachers and how to reach students. This is how effective professional development should be done. In the schools with teachers, it's really the only way to make professional development stick in a school. You can't just get one day of professional development and then tell your teachers to go do it, because it's complicated. We started this at the very end of the pandemic because we looked at our data, and on the state assessment that year in 2021, none of our students scored proficient in math. It was a very stressful time. It was hard to teach online. Our kids had just lost so much around math. So now on the state test last year, 27% of my students were proficient on the NMESA. So that's pretty remarkable. I'm proud of my students. When they do number talks, they have to communicate. It's just mental math. All students participate. They use hand signals. They use sentence starters. They're respectful with one another. They're not afraid to tackle a problem. They love to get in there and tell us their strategies. They learn strategies around different operations so that when they encounter those problems on a test or in class, they have different strategies to draw from. It creates a lot of equity in the classroom because every student gets to think about it. Engagement's big, and student engagement is one thing that we really struggle with in schools, because kids are bored, they don't want to participate, they want to be on their phone, or they want to be on their Chromebook, or they want to play a video game or something like that. But what you see with number talks is every child is engaged because they're all thinking about the math. So I've just seen a lot of growth in my students over the past 3 years, and my teachers. My teachers are rock stars, and they attend every PD with an open mind, and they just get in there and they do what they need to do for students. But it wouldn't have been possible without the support of the MTLN, the Math Teacher Leader Network, and Dr. Leonard and Mr. Merker. They came in with the knowledge of mathematics and how to teach mathematics, and that's how we made this happen. So our kids, if you watch a number talk at my school, our kids have a very rich math vocabulary. They always thought they were bad at math, but they're good at math because they can do this. So it's just like a little family. It's great. This school is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Take one dedicated horsewoman and her ex-military husband, add some four-legged partners, and you've got a way for veterans to heal and find a way forward. Meet Nancy DeSantis.
My name is Nancy DeSantis, and I and my husband created the nonprofit Horses for Heroes New Mexico Incorporated with our Cowboy Up program. We work with combat veterans, and our program is to help veterans integrate as well as deal with wounds of war. Our friend called Rick and said, "You're the only Green Beret cowboy I know. You know, would you consider working with veterans?" And so he said, "Of course, when can they come?"
Room service.
And so that's where we began. We work with horses because they create such a beautiful, safe space for our veterans to be able to dive into what might be at the bottom of what's affecting them. This work is really important to me because it gives veterans an opportunity to work with horses in a way that opens them up, and it creates a beautiful space for them to reconnect with themselves as individuals. It's very transformative. I get to witness the transformation in veterans because of that interaction. We work with horses because they are sentient beings who, when you're working with a 1,200-pound animal, you never forget a lesson. They create such that beautiful, safe space, which is hard to find in an office with four walls. I have family that was, of course, military, so it's my way of giving back to veterans. It's when we treat human beings around us with the dignity that they deserve that we can move mountains. When I see an individual have, like I said, their aha moments and come to wholeness, there's nothing better than seeing that.
She'll tell you she believes in change, and Maddie Jim is making sure that changes happen for the LGBTQ+ community in meaningful ways, ranging from healthcare to legislation.
Yad Aisha Maddie Jim and Che Nasht Ejadan Shlon Kiani Bashashin to Bahandash Chedot Sanajini Dashanada. Hi, my name is Maddie Jim. I'm of the Zuni people clan, born for the Tyrant House people clan. And I work here at First Nations Community Health Source, and I am a supervisor for HIV prevention programs. The work that we do is HIV prevention work, and we also do harm reduction services. So we basically give out education, information, HIV testing, and we also do harm reduction services where we give out syringes and anything around harm reduction. And also I am a Native American transgender advocate, so I do a lot of advocacy on the local, state, and national levels. Having a seat at the table or at the meeting or being a part of groups that possibly want to make change, looking at addressing some policy stuff, or even voicing or having a voice at the table where sometimes I feel as a Native trans woman that our voices are not being heard. I've been in several advisory groups or councils or board membership. I've been doing HIV and transgender advocacy for over 25 years. I started when I was sober. 28 years ago. I've been sober 28 years. So I started volunteering, giving out condoms, information brochures, bringing people together and giving out information. At first I was like kind of challenging because I'm sober and most of the population that I work with are in the bars. To be honest, sometimes I feel that we're being left out of the conversation, and people sometimes talk and say, oh, you are part of the group, or we do represent that, or we do talk about that, and sometimes we don't feel that way, we don't see it. I started doing advocacy before the word transgender was heard. When I first came out, I identified as gay and didn't know what transgender was. The only words that were around were probably transsexual, crossdresser, drag queen. We've seen the progression of gender identities under the spectrum of trans and stuff. So with non-binary, gender non-conforming, so different ways people identify. You are who you are because that's how you were born, and you can live your life how you want to, not by other people's standards. People have been taught to dislike trans populations. I tell people in trainings that hate is learned, which I feel is true. People are taught that. I'm living my life and I'm happy.
Being hungry and trying to learn is not something any school child should have to face, and Elizabeth Potter is making sure kids in her community have food and opportunity on their menu.
Every Wednesday we get together and we pack the bags for the families, and they're all divvied up where they're going to go. My name is Elizabeth Potter, and I am from Rio del Sur, New Mexico, and we're being recognized for the Food for Kids backpack program that serves approximately 400 children each week. The Food for Kids backpack program is a weekend backpack program. We send food home to kids on the weekends that don't have enough food during the weekends. What we discovered is that in the schools there were kids that didn't have enough food to eat. My husband brought this to me and said, told me what was going on. And because I was working at Head Start, I went to my director and I said, can we start this in the Head Start program? And she said, absolutely. So that's what we did. And so it's just grown from there. And now we have a superintendent at the Rio del Sur schools that has been very supportive of our efforts. And, like the space that we pack our bags in has all been donated to us by the school. The only thing we spend money on is food for those kids. We're very blessed. We have many volunteers. On average, we probably have about 25 that show up every week just to, pack bags. I've never had to go out and beg people for anything. You literally just say, this is what our need is, and somebody will bring it to you, or they will offer to do it, or something. So what I see for the future of Food for Kids is that it will just keep growing and expanding and evolving. What I find rewarding about the Food for Kids backpack program and doing this work is just everything. I think the best part is giving back to the kids, of course, and the community. I have a passion for these kids and for making sure they're taken care of.
When her grandparents came to Albuquerque, little did they guess that decades later, granddaughter Liba Fried would be fighting to preserve local history at the very site where their train arrived in 1920.
My grandparents came on the train to Albuquerque in 1920. My name is Liba Fried. I'm the president of the Wheels Museum. In 1994, I decided to save the rail yards. They had been vacant since 1977 when they were abandoned by the Burlington Railroad. And in 1994, they were for sale. In 2007, the city bought the property. Wheels was able to put $2 million into the purchase of the property of state money. And we have 21,000 square feet with about 5,000 exhibit items here, about $5 million worth of exhibits, most of which have been donated to us. People understand we're trying to save the transportation history of the West. So we have trains, full-size, model trains. We have automobiles, full-size and model. We have airplanes, full-size and model, bicycles, and many other vehicles. WHEELS is an acronym. It stands for We Have Everything Everyone Loves Spinning. We have about 60 volunteers. We're all volunteers, people who are devoted to New Mexico, who want to help it. We are trying to inspire young people to understand the meaning of what did Grandpa do to make this a modern city, a modern state. People love to come in here from all over the world. Some laugh, some cry. They remember vehicles that their grandpa had or what the work that their grandpa had. They love what we're doing, and people donate things to us constantly, and we're trying to grow. Actually, this building, we are bursting at the seams, so we are looking for more space, and of course we need a lot of money too. the development of our state based on trains, based on Route 66, based on the airport, all are very important. This has been a very difficult project. I've done it for 30 years as a volunteer. People have said, well, why don't you quit? When times have gotten very, very difficult, either financially or politically or something. If I quit, it's over.
A love of the road and the scenery of New Mexico gave this two-wheel commuter an idea that grew into a club and then benefited motorcyclists in all of our state's 33 counties. Meet Harley rider Richard Sturgeon.
My name is Richard Sturgeon. I'm in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Work I'm being recognized for is the motorcycle awareness throughout the state. Most people will say it's freedom and you're one with the road more so than you can possibly be in a car. You know, we know that there are a lot of inherent dangers in riding motorcycles, but we're out there doing it just for the love of riding. In 2015, I was asked to start a motorcycle safety committee, and the instructions that I was given was find some like-minded people and go do stuff. I began figuring out ways to raise motorcycle awareness throughout Los Alamos. Then it kind of spread to the state. I wrote a letter to the governor back in 2016 and asked if it wouldn't be cool if we recognized May as Motorcycle Awareness Month. To my surprise, she got back a hold of me within about a week. I wrote the proclamation for her, and I've been doing it every year since. Over the years, I've been just trying to figure out different ways to raise motorcycle awareness, thinking outside the box. I had seen a specialty plate on a car here in town, and it just got me thinking, if I could get a motorcycle awareness license plate that was purchased by riders all over the state, then it's really like a mobile billboard. So people can see the plate, think about motorcycles, and hopefully reduce accidents and maybe save lives. We didn't realize that we needed an addendum on top of the bill to get the motorcycle size license plates. So right now we have a pretty beautiful motorcycle awareness plate that we can't put on motorcycles. And it was our fault, but right now it's just for vehicles and trucks. I've lost friends. I've had friends in horrible accidents, and it never occurred to me before I was asked to start this committee that maybe I could be somebody who helped raise awareness for my friends and other riders. The more I feel that I can do to have our residents thinking about motorcyclists, the safer we are.
What an inspiration to know these people are part of our communities and our state. A big thank you and congratulations to the 2023 New Mexico Magazine True Heroes. Your hard work is making life better around you every day. And to everyone out there who's doing something that makes someone else's life brighter, keep it going. Together, we can make New Mexico shine.